best part of any parang season is house parang. That's the time where everybody, all these songs that you know you don't really want to perform just too much because you haven't perfected it just yet, but it's good enough for house parang. Everybody vibing, you sing 5 songs, you take a short break, you sing 20 more, you take a next break. So it just goes on and on, house to house, and it's just really so enjoyable, so much joy, because I suppose the tension of sometimes performing isn't there, and it's just to just enjoy yourself, laugh away, and have a good time with the band.
I was more interested in the house parang, right? In my latter years, although it was just maybe about 6 years I played with the band, I thoroughly enjoyed the house parang and the joy that it brought to the homes that we visited. You know, even the homes where there were 1 and 2 people, the expectation and just almost like the animation and confusion that you saw within the home. You know, they don't want you to leave. You know, but I experienced and felt that.
That's the nature. You see, that's the nature of what parang was then. The house to house,
Yes.
the social.
Yes.
You know, when you go to certain neighbors, I remember going to Santa Cruz with the same group of musicians I'm telling you about, and you go from one house to the other, you see the lights in the neighborhood going on as everybody realized parang in the area, and you had to go to every house that night because whoever comes across to the neighbor while you're there, you're going by their house next, and you have to do the whole neighborhood. Otherwise, people upset. So that's why we're on the road the whole time. The sun come up, they give you coffee. You still going until you visit everybody in that neighborhood.
The thing is, the parang group embodied that as well, because once we became established by the next year, it was a strict, well, all right, you're coming by my house, mommy wants you now, and mommy wanted this day, and we had to actually schedule the group. Right? Much as would have happened later on, we would schedule the group to visit. So if we go in by somebody, we would always end the season at the Dalip's house on the 22nd of December. That was Denise's birthday, Keith's sister. That was her birthday, and we would end the pre-Christmas at the Dalip's house on the 22nd of December. Once he had come on, which was in 80, I think it was. And but we visited one another. We got to know one another's family. They expected to see us because, I mean, my daughter singing parang, my song in a parang group. So we found ourselves going to our friends' homes and being part of that extended family. Farrell House became the parang house. Everything. That was an engine room. Nadia's house became an engine room. Her mother became Mommy Farrell. The father became Daddy Farrell. We became family. Yeah. So even during the course of the year, outside of parang, that was a base for us in that particular, our year group. We had a base in the Farrell house, and that's Yes, and then we had to have a north visit and a south visit and a east visit and a west visit, and it just became huge.
Yeah.
Miguel, that's the start of the east run and the west run.
You see how the tradition starts? The tradition passes on. So we have a north run, a south run. Right. And an east run, a west run. The traditions remain.
Because the band had quite a few members, we had a lot of houses to go to, right? Yeah. So we really enjoyed doing the house-to-house thing. And I think that had a big part to play in cementing us as a group.
Yeah.
One part of that I really particularly enjoyed is that I had some connections down in the West. And you remember we talking about 1979, 1980, somewhere thereabouts. Mm-hmm. Parang wasn't a major thing in West Trinidad.
No,
know.
It was more on the east side.
It was east and then deeper south, Parry and places like that. Mm-hmm. But I had A, because some of the people in the band were from the West. B, I had some friends in the West. We started going to do house to house in the West in the traditional way. Yeah. I mean, like sneaking into people's yards, jumping.
And then singing serenals and started off with serenals.
At 2 o'clock in the morning. Yeah, the real thing. During the dogs, there was this thing that we used to say in the band, don't worry about the dogs are afraid of parang, right? So we would go into the yards, set up on their porches. Yeah. And as I said, 2-3 o'clock in the morning and start a serenal and wait to see the lights go on and the curtains move aside.
Yeah, to see what is outside.
That's right, So we had a lot of fun back in those days with it. You know, the one of the things about it is what we did back then. I have friends up to today who remember the years when Parranderos came to Parang at their homes, 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning.
But those are lasting memories to have.
Of course.
You brought back a memory. One of the staple engagements in the early days was playing at your house. Playing at your house for your father's birthday.
Correct.
And I distinctly remember your mother always buffing the guests because they would sit down as if it was a concert. And she would say, why are you all geriatrics sitting down here? Get up and dance. You all don't know good music?
Yes.
Lisa was so full of energy. God rest her soul.
God rest her soul. My mom passed at 49. It was really it was a difficult time, of course, and there was a silence of Parang in the house. And I think we introduced her. We came back when her dad's birthday a couple of years after, and so on, you know, because when it was such an exciting time, and Mom brought that Christmas spirit, you know, and she loved her Easter too, you know, and yes, you know, but Christmas as well, you know. So it was an amazing time.
What I enjoyed most, which sadly we don't do too much of anymore because of different circumstances, house parang. I love house parang. Of course, it is tied back to my father's family band because what I experienced with them was house parang. They used to be involved in competition too, but I never experienced that side of it. It was always at my grandmother's house or by my aunt's house. So the joy of parang for me was house parang. And so going to somebody's home and standing by the door and singing and letting them say, come inside, and we go inside, and that kind of thing, I still love house parang up to this day. If for some reason the band said we'll just do house parang for the rest of our time, I would be fine. I would be fine because I love house parang, I really, really do.
I'm a foodie in general, but I actually don't have like a favorite food to have for house parang. I get more excited about something that I won't usually have. That you know, like what one time that stands out. Then we did a South house parang, and we went down to that house. That was a very unique house parang when they compare to the rest in many ways. We did not only parang but calypso, but that's a separate story. But the dishes is completely different to what you usually have. It was, I remember it like, yes, there was goat head curry goat head, and aloo puri, not dal puri but aloo puri, and crayfish, and it was so strange, but that to me was exciting. That the fact that you were tasting something that you would never expect for house parang. Oh, it's like in general, like you know, goat head, you know, not only goat with the goat head, and then Robert said, I have the eye. I remember that. I have the eye. So that to me, like discovering new delicacies, is exciting.